Hey guys, welcome back. That was kind of scary. I'm sorry, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I first of all just wanted to get something off my chest that I'm a little bit and definitely mostly insanely angry about and have been for a while is why the freak do I have to have 1,000 followers to go live on Instagram? What elitist freaking world are we living in? Dystopia. What the freak? Instagram, Meta. I miss it so much. And like, I'm so glad I have a best friend who has 1,000 followers. So I have a cheat code. But what about all the other people who want to go live, who have beautiful minds and ideas? I don't know. It really freaking pisses me off. And every single time I go to the live button and it gives you the option to click live, it teases you about it. And then it says, no, you can't. No, you can't. You're a pleb. You're poor. You can't do that. Anyways, kind of on topic of the Instagram world, I was just thinking about how, like, online we are, which I know is like, snooze fest. Everybody talks about that. I know. But I just want to talk about my personal experience of being on Instagram specifically because my digital footprint, like, call me Bigfoot. Call me Bigfoot of the digital footprint space. Because, whoa. Luckily, I have nothing that's incriminating out there. But at the rate I'm going, it's going to happen soon. Someone's going to see my boob or something. I think I'm on it way too much, but then I talk to my friends and they're like, no, you use it in like a perfect way. And like you're a top tier Instagram user. And so I'm like, frick, like I'm giving the people what they want, but at what cost? At what cost? I honestly, I envy the guys who have like one post every like 6 months and it's just like of nothingness. Like I wish I could be that mysterious. Oh, I wish I could, but I want to post like everything all the time. And even this, bro, I feel like is a way for me to clip farm when I could just be doing this for myself, but I can't. I have to post it. But I'm thinking maybe is there a divine purpose of all of this? Is there a divine purpose that I feel the need to clip farm and put it out? And so I'm going to follow that gut instinct I have that God has whispered into my ear and says, Maddie, nothing can be personal for you and it has to belong to the world. So I'm here with you guys. I think I spend a lot of time on Instagram in a way that I need to get off. So that's why YouTube, we're on YouTube, I have been listening to like a lot of Elliott Smith, like so much. And I dyed my hair black. So there are some certain things, like some dots to be connected there, but I know myself very well and I am fine. Beyond Elliott Smith, I feel like I've been getting back into older artists that I would love my first 2 years of college, which was like such a explosive, passionate time for me to be into new music. I feel like this past year I've gotten into such amazing music. People I know put me on like crazy, but the older music was just so personal to me because I found it myself. And like I'm looking at one of my favorite objects ever on my desk. Ooh, Inception. The Strokes. I can't even begin. I'll cry. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why my eyes are actually teary right now. You want to know what Tilda Carr is inspired by? It's this. Is this it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Julian Casablancas has something. I mean, he has a lot of things probably. But he's got something that is special musically, I think. Just, I can't even really encapsulate what it is to me that pulls me in towards him and everything he does. But maybe it is just something undeniable that I can't explain, and that makes it even more special. Someday, I think, has to be my favorite song of all time. There's just something so freaking beautiful and simple. And I think that's what they do so well. It's like they go back to the basics, but reinvent it. And I think that is what makes the best music, in my opinion. I mean, every music, all kinds of music is the best music ever. But my personal favorite that resonates with me most is when an artist just reinvents something that is very classic. And I read an interview with Julian Casablancas about how he wanted the album to sound, and also the producer. And they said they wanted to sound like you went up in an attic and found like a tape from the 70s of a band that was like ahead of their time. And that is, that is such a tedious thing to do, and something you can't really be mindful of a lot of the time when you're doing it. It just happens that way. But the fact that they like had that foresight, created it, and it did sound like that and resonate with everyone like that. And it revived like rock. Like that's what it's the rock revival era of music, especially in New York and the underground scene in New York. And it's just like, ooh, I could talk about it forever. I know this is probably boring, but I could talk about it actually forever. I love that era. LCD Sound System. Oh. Sound of Silver. Interpol. Turn on the bright lights. Like, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I will yap forever. And I feel like lately, when it comes to like my own music, I've been at such like my entire life with making music, I have felt such a pull between the way of making art and just doing it and putting it out, because it's not always your job to like what you do. It is not your job to perceive what you do and think it is the best thing ever. I think if you have, like, I will make a song like every day. I have such a, it's not even like passion or desire. It's like almost a need, an itch in my brain to scratch, to write and make a song and play guitar. And I think if you're more like that, it's not your job to like love everything that you do. I think it's your job to put it out, because that is art and it's meant to be perceived. And I think in my end of it, I'm meant to write it and to feel it and to get whatever I need out. And then the more beautiful part of it, I think, is when it can come out and resonates with people. So I think I have been way too guarded with my music and creating an aesthetic that everything has to be the perfect package before it comes out. But it doesn't. I don't think I'm that type of artist. And I would love to be eventually. But I do everything at home by myself right here. I do everything right here with this mic, with my little guitar right there, and Ableton, and a Dream. And so I think I got to get over that. You know, I'm not going to make Is This It? And I have to come to terms with that. That my destiny is not to be Julian Casablancas. It is to be Tilda Carr or Madison Weaver. Or my destiny is to be Madison Weaver. I guess for so long I've been trying to capture lightning in a bottle when everything is the ocean, I feel like. And also, how am I going to catch lightning in a bottle when I have not put anything out to be caught? How is lightning going to strike when there's nothing there? I did a photo shoot not that long ago for a friend, and I had to also write like a little excerpt about what I think like femininity is, or to be a woman is. And this is what I wrote. To be a woman. I would suppose to be a woman to me is to eat dinner in my car at the end of every day and listen to my favorite music. To be a woman to me is to drive around looking for a new pretty church to park at and read. To be a woman to me is to nerd out with guys about music and know I'll always be cooler than them because I'm a woman. To be a woman, to me, is to know my reality so well that I fall willingly back into fantasy. To be a woman to me is to sometimes be lonely, but to be a woman to me is to have community. To be a woman to me is to learn things the hard way, but be glad I had to. To be a woman to me is to be spinning in a teacup. To be a woman to me is to feel 1,000,000 years old and also like a complete beginner all at the same time. To be a woman to me is to sometimes know hell. To be a woman to me is to be like a little girl. And to be a little girl to me is to be a universe in my own right. And I feel in this almost shunning of my childhood, I feel like I've often neglected the little girl that's also existed. Not to sound all corny about like the inner child, but like low key, guys, it's true. Guys, I'm sorry, it's true. Like the inner child is true. It's true. You have to nurture it, and you have to be in touch with it, and you have to understand and listen to it. Because if you don't, you become sad and lonely and really depressed and confused. And I don't want to be any of those things. I don't want to be any of those things. Those are all really sucky things to be. And so, I don't know, I guess I'm lately been trying to figure out, like, how to be nostalgic for my childhood, or, like, how to not look at it from all angles, how to not intellectualize every experience with the brain I have now, and to really just let certain things be romanticized. Because I feel like I romanticize in a different way. I feel like I romanticize because of the philosophy that I hold in my brain now, where everything about life is beautiful and is meant to happen, and it's all by chance or not, and that itself, the fact that we don't have answers about any of it, is the amazingness of whatever, like, oh my god, there's freaking stuff I spiel that I believe, but I just freaking say it over and over again, and sometimes it's really good just to be, like, a normal human who, I mean, I'm a normal human, but, like, in mindset that is just very normal, and, like, can get angry and confused and depressed in a way that is in the moment. When I look back to my childhood, I don't allow myself to ever feel the emotion I did then. I entirely forget about how I felt then, and I try to override and either see the silver lining or romanticize it in that way of, like, oh, it was supposed to all happen like that. And I think in the long run it's for the best that I do that, because it lets me consolidate certain things. But I don't know, sometimes I'm like, the only way through is through. The only way through is through, and if I have unresolved anything from the past, how am I going through it? If that is how I'm thinking about it, if I'm rewriting history in my emotional brain. And so I've just been thinking about that, I guess, and the Elliott Smith has been, I think, slowly, subconsciously unwinding things for me. And I think a big reason why I'm sitting here talking to my camera about things, like, kind of really personal to me that my friends will probably see, I think it's like the little girl wanting to come out and play. She wanted to come out and play. And I wanna be adored. No, but I think that part of me does want to pursue the passions and the things that I wanted to when I was little that now felt cringe to do. Like, this felt so cringe to do. This felt so cringe. Like, nobody wants to hear me yap, like, for this long. Like, are you joking? Are you joking? No, I'm not. I think I'm just going to let my brain do whatever it wants to from now on, and I'm not even going to think about what's cringe or not, because a little girl would not. When I was, like, 6, 7... When I was, like, 6, 7, actually, I tried to convince my mom, who birthed me, by the way. I came out of her vagina. Oof, I don't like that. I'm sorry. I was birthed by her. She brought me into the world in a very beautiful way. I tried to convince her that I had a identical twin named Maggie, and we couldn't be in the same room together. And I just, like, remember having so much confidence as a child, because did I think she would really believe me? Maybe not. But the fact that I really tried to run a bit on her, and, like, change clothes really quickly and, like, go out into the living room again, where is that confidence to be a child, you know? I understand the world, it beats you up and it makes you, like, really insecure, and, like, people say mean things and all that kind of stuff, but, like, so we're tapping back into the little girl. We're tapping back into Little Mad Weaver, Little Tilda Carr. Because I really do, I think the whole Tilda Carr thing with me, because anybody who doesn't know me who's watching this, my name is not Tilda Carr. That is a stage name. I think when it comes to, like, the Tilda Carr stuff, in a way, it's very much just my like deepest passions and like desires of things I want to do that maybe at first I felt the most insecure about putting out. I could do under a different name and it'd be a whole different thing. When it comes to like thinking about childhood, I don't view it as something like that I dwell on too much. But I believe in nostalgia, you know. Like, I believe in nostalgia. Sorry, inside joke. I do believe in nostalgia. I feel it very deeply. But I don't know if I necessarily take my childhood as something nostalgic entirely. It's very hard to explain. It's hard to explain. That's one of the songs on this. Which, if you want to talk about nostalgia, if you want to talk about nostalgia, I definitely find most of my nostalgia in music. I will say. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I necessarily find nostalgia in a lot of other things other than music. Maybe that's why I'm so connected to it. Maybe it's like the tether to a past. Because I have a very close friend of mine who journals, and she's been journaling for like every single day of her whole life. And I envy that because she gets to go back and see how she felt in a moment when she was like 12. And I've just like almost entirely forgotten, you know, so much about most of my life. Most of my life was my childhood so far. And growing up and becoming an adult. And I feel like I've forgotten so much of it. But things like this are the only things that help me remember, which is probably why I'm so passionate. But I've also been thinking lately about like guys who are really into music, because I think it's kind of funny to say that whatever I'm into is just cooler because I'm a girl. But for a guy to be really into music, I feel like a lot of the guys I've met, especially since moving to where I live now, which is like a very heavy music scene. Most people here are alt and into music. I mean, to say into music is an understatement. They breathe music. They eat music. They freaking poop out music. That's amazing. But where is the line between being very passionate about music and being low-key a little bit obsessed and neglecting life? Because music is an escape. It is a drug. I don't know, I feel like when you're so into it and you're so on the pulse of things, what are you sacrificing? Especially to all the men, because you guys have a lot to do. To all the men out there, you guys have a lot to do. And I don't mean actual like work. I mean, you guys, and if you don't feel this way, don't take offense. But to the men, your kind has so much work to do. It is actually insane to me how not a single experience of my life with a guy has been good. None of my friends have been good. I was sitting at Chipotle with my two beautiful, amazing friends, and really just like looking at them and taking the conversation in and just being like, wow, these women are truly beautiful. And we were all talking about guys, but in ways that we show them grace, maybe when we shouldn't, when they cross our boundaries, and we still try to not humiliate them and protect them when we shouldn't. But we were at Chipotle, and these group of two guys, I think like a third one pulled up eventually, sat down. The conversations they were having, clavicular this, cortisol maxing this. I just have so much anger within me about that, because they were being so loud and they were ruining the vibe. They were ruining our vibe. We were having a beautiful night at Chipotle, and they pulled up and ruined the vibe while we were talking about how much we don't like men and how too kind we are to men. Now, would I say that I am anti-men now? No. Because I have a belief that, well, first of all, I don't want to be anti-anything. Like, I know you're going to say, you're not anti-Nazi? Durr. Durr. But, like, a whole gender of the population, no, I'm not going to be anti. I really do feel like the patriarchy and the way that the world is set up and has been for a really freaking long time is going to hurt everyone in different ways, and it's so obvious how it has hurt women. It is so, now it's obvious how it's hurt women. I do think that there is a downfall to everything if society is built on a patriarchy. And I think that men are hurt, very hurt by it in a very similar way. You know, it's their job and responsibility to rewrite that and tear it down and correct their behavior. But another thing we were talking about at Chipotle was about how are the guys going to know it's wrong if you don't tell them after the fact? If you just ghost them, what are they going to think? That you're emotionally unavailable and you don't like them or something? I don't know. But if you told them, then they would know. And they wouldn't do it. But another part of me is like, fuck that! Where are your parents? Where are your parents telling you these things? Where is your parent? Boy. Where is your parent telling you that having sex with a girl who's not into having sex with you is like the move? Who told you, boy? Who told you that a girl lying there, not interested, and kissing you back, or having sex with you, is hot? How does that get you off? That is something beyond right and wrong that I do not understand. How does doing anything with somebody who is not entirely in it with you and feeling passionate about it, how does that get you off, even? Are you sick? Are you sick in the head? Just go get a freaking blow-up doll or some shit and hump that. 'Cause, like, what? But on another note, on a happier note, the women of the world are actually wonderful and beautiful and amazing, and I feel like the older I get, the more I find community in women. I just couldn't imagine, like, how the world would be if men were the same way. I could cry. I could be overwhelmed with emotion thinking about that because, I mean, what would I be on here for? I would be swimming in the ocean and basking in the sunlight and running along a field. I'm going to sit and ponder that, and I'm going to dream about that tonight because my dreams will be reality. Manifestation is real. Everything I want, I can have. So, boy. To all the freaking boys of the world. And if you think you're a man, you're probably not. You're a boy. So, boy. Go back to the fucking drawing board. Be alone. Figure out a personality or something, because that's got to change too. Put some normal clothes on. Put some normal big boy clothes on. And find someone who is equally passionate about having intercourse with you. And if that's impossible to find, then brother, look in the mirror. Then brother, there's something wrong with that freaking reflection. That has nothing to do with the way women are. And it has everything to do with you. And how probably really annoying you are. But I have nothing but love for you still. And love for everyone. and bye, chat.